so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's talk. Let's talk. So this is, I think, the third installment of Oh Have Y'all Seen, which is a series I created where I like to talk about documentaries that I've watched. And here recently, I haven't really been watching any documentaries, but last night I watched part one of Netflix's newest documentary called Escaping Twin Flames. And baby, we're going to talk about it. So in this video, we're just going to be talking about part one. Honestly, y'all, I was not going to do this video, but I got caught up talking about it on Twitter with one of my mutuals. And then my friend called me this morning and we were talking about it for like a good hour and 30 minutes. And I was like, you know what? I want to talk about this. So let's talk about it. So let's get into this. So part one opens up, and the name or the title of part one is called Smoke and Mirrors. We get introduced to Jeff and Shalia Ayan. They are the founders of the organization or the group called Twin Flames Universe. Basically, it's a YouTube video. I'm thinking Shalia is the one that was like filming the video of Jeff and them in their Porsche together. He's showing everybody the bells and whistles of the car, being like, oh, you can turn it on by way of like an app and all of that good stuff. And basically saying this was made possible by their community, all these people who are a part of the Twin Flames universe. In the documentary, they let us know that the Twin Flames universe has 38,000 like supporters or community members. And they have to take a course. So basically, Shalia and Jeff are selling like self-help for you to find your twin flame. Now, if you don't know what a twin flame is pretty much a term a lot of people use on the spiritual side of like the internet. And basically it says a twin flame is an intense soul connection with someone to be perceived as your other half. It can also be called your mirror soul, but basically it's supposed to be someone that like knows, like that connects to you on a level that is beyond anybody else. Like they're supposed to understand you in ways that you don't even understand yourself. But it's weird to me. Well, I don't say weird. It's just, it's crazy that all of this stuff came to be, because based off of Wikipedia, they said that Twin Flames Universe, the organization or the group, came to be in 2017. And I remember around 2017, 2016, and 18, there was like this explosion about this topic of twin flames. I remember a bunch of YouTube videos about it, people on Twitter talking about it, on Instagram, and even on Facebook, on the spiritual sides of the internet. And there was like a clear divide about is if a twin flame is a good thing or a bad thing. I remember there was people that were like, no, your twin flame is like your soulmate, the person that you are destined to be with your other half. But then I saw other people say that your twin flame was someone that mirrors your soul, that shows you the negative aspects of yourself. And by the way, through your twin flame, you're supposed to solve those issues within yourself. You're not supposed to be with that person long term. So it's just interesting that I feel as though these two people saw what was going on and decided to like capitalize off of it. That's what it seems to me, even in this part one. And me just like being like, you seeing that type of discourse online around the time that they're saying this group came to be. So in this part one, they focused on 4 people. They focused on Stephanie, Kaylee and Marley, who are like sisters, and then Ella. So that's how we're going to talk about this in this part. So first up is Stephanie. Like I said, 4 people. First up, we're going to talk about Stephanie. So the episode opens up and we see Stephanie's sister, Paula, on the phone with the police trying to file a report about her missing sister, which is Stephanie. Paula is on the phone with the police saying that I think my sister is a part of a high control group. I Googled to understand what a high control group is, but it's basically another way to call something a cult. And what they pretty much said online is that a cult or a high control group is a group that discourages members from questioning rules and principles and practices expects subservientness and loyalty, discourages trusting relationships outside of the group, and perpetuates the notion that those within the group are right and superior to those outside of the group. It promotes extreme, polarizing beliefs and expects its members to suppress their authentic selves in exchange for the sense of belonging and security that the group offers. And I got this article by way of psychotherapynetworker.com, but I'll put the link below if you would like to read it for yourself. But basically, Paula's on the phone with the dispatcher like, look, I haven't seen my sister in a while, and I think that she's a part of a high control group, and I need y'all help. And the dispatcher pretty much is like, is she there by her own free will? And Paula's like, well, is coercion your own free will? And the lady's like, oh, okay. But it pretty much giving the energy that like, ma'am, we really can't do anything, especially if she decided to be a part of that group by herself, which has to be such a frustrating and hopeless feeling that it's like, I know somebody, my loved one, is being harmed, and I can't do anything about it because at the end of the day, they are an adult. I think the only way the police could really like go get like someone, if they are a part of like a cult, is if they're like a minor or maybe like a special adult, in a sense of like an elderly person or someone who is mentally disabled or physically disabled. I don't think that like if you don't fit them categories, they can just bust in there to come get you. But then again, if you're this color, they can do whatever they want. You know, the minorities know. But so she's on the phone. Like I said, Paula, we get introduced to Paula on the phone with the dispatcher, and then you see Louise. I felt so bad for the mama because she's sitting on the couch with her cigarette in her hand. She said, you know, I tried to quit. Then I got the goodbye letter, and it's just a way to cope. And I said, goodbye letter. So what we find out is that Stephanie became a part of the Twin Flames universe around the time, I want to say 2017, 2018. And she then sent this goodbye letter in 2018 or maybe 2019, because they did say all of this stuff kind of happened around December of 2018. So there's a chance that things could have kept going in January. But pretty much, the mom is like, she just cut us off. So basically, we find out that Stephanie seems to be the community-based twin out of Paula in herself. Like, it seems like Stephanie was the one that wanted to be in the community, wanted to help those. So she joined the Peace Corps. She got stationed in Taiwan, and she meets this guy in Taiwan. She thinks the man that she met is her soulmate. Him, not so much. He wasn't really featuring Miss Ma'am, and it just never turned into anything, and that really hurts Stephanie's feelings and made her feel some type of way. And I guess she reached out or started to try to find ways to cope with her feelings, and that's how she stumbled upon Twin Flames universe. So Stephanie is really getting engrossed into this community. Her family at first thinks it's okay because she's still, I guess a Christian, still talking about God. It seems like, okay, she might be okay. Maybe this is just a new community she wants to be a part of. But then the mom said she started to notice things kind of flipped because she started talking about like fame and fortune and love. And it was like, that's not necessarily what I thought she was doing over there. Okay. And then Stephanie, they really realized something was up when Paula was getting married. Stephanie was in Paula's wedding, and I guess she might have been like the maid of honor because she also gave a speech. But she was like, things seemed to be kind of off with her. She was like, while they were at the reception, Stephanie was constantly on conference calls with Twin Flames Universe. And she was just like, it didn't seem right. She said she also said that one night they slept in the bed together and her sister had like severe night terrors. And that scared Paula because Paula was like, I've never known my sister to deal with something like that. And she was just like, something is really wrong. We then speed up in the episode and we meet this girl named Sarah, who was also a part of the Twin Flames universe or the community. And Stephanie became her coach. So the way the Twin Flames universe was broken down into was you have Jeff and Shalia are at the top. Then you had master coaches, and then you had just regular coaches. I'm guessing that Stephanie is now a master coach because it seems like she's still a part of the organization, but nevertheless, she was a coach. And Stephanie and Sarah got paired up together, and Sarah was like, "Yeah, we just seem to really click." I met her outside of Zoom because all of this stuff is happening on Zoom until it's not. So pretty much, in order to be a part of the Twin Flames universe, you had to pay $222, I guess, monthly to be a part of their weekly Zooms that they had, calls that they would have their community in. And then by the end of the year, if you continue to pay, you end up paying $220. And see, because I like angel numbers, I said I know why they picked that number. And I found the screenshot of the picture that I was looking for because I have like a necklace that has 222 on it, and it says angel number 222 means a special message from your guardian angels about unity, love, and your relationship with God. And then there's another meaning to it too, where it says angel number 222 in a relationship. 222 might also convey a powerful message about your companion. 222 is a sign that your lover is genuine and committed, and that you must work hard to rejuvenate and revitalize your conviction in your relationship. So they specifically picked that number for a reason, because I said that is a odd number to have people pay that. Like 222 is an odd number. Like, it's an odd number to have people. That's an odd price tag. Like, we normally are used to price tags being like 220, like $225 or 220, but like 222, like the price tag is probably gonna be like the price tag looks weird. And so I'm just like, they was playing in them people's faces in the beginning. I was like, y'all are playing in these people's faces. Y'all are definitely playing in these people's faces by picking that number. But I guess for some people, if they Googled that number, it probably would have made them feel like they were on the right track, especially if they were searching for something. Me, I'm cynical. I know I am. And I can be very pessimistic. So I question a lot of things. So I was like, something about this. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. So pretty much you have to pay for these courses to be a part of their community. So like I said, Sarah and Stephanie become friends because Stephanie is Sarah's coach. Stephanie and Sarah decide like, hey, we should have a meet and greet where we all, like, a couple of the people in the community, because mind you, like I said, their community has over 30,000 followers, like over 30,000 members. And so they were going to have like a small little like get together. But then I guess Jeff found out about it and was like, yo, that could be our first meet and greet of the Twin Flames universe. So they hijacked their meet and greet, and about 50 people show up. They have them in an Airbnb, and the people love it. The people love it. The people feel like this makes their community better. It makes it more real because I'm meeting these people in person that I see all the time on Zoom. I'm connecting to people that I became friends with through Zoom. Like, this makes it real. You know what I mean? So they have the meet and greet. I think they were in New York at the time. And all of a sudden, this is where I said, oh, he playing with y'all. He starts talking about soul families, saying that your soul family is your real family, not the people that you come from. And Sarah makes a note that she could tell that Stephanie was getting very emotional. Like, sis was breaking down. Like, she was in her feelings. And Sarah ends up saying that, like, Stephanie had shared with her that her family, like her and her family weren't doing well. Like, because Paulina and Louise knew something won't right about this group, and they wanted Stephanie to get away from them. And Stephanie was like, no, y'all are the bad guys. So once Stephanie heard like the people in the Twin Flames universe was her family, she was like, yeah, I'm good. Like, these are my people. They then started talking about like energy leaks, that like people who weren't a part of your soul family were energy leaks. Like, they were leeching off your energy. They were leaking your energy. And that the way that you stop that from happening is cutting your family off. So Sarah says, like, Stephanie said she was ready to like let her family go. And at the time when Sarah was in the community, she was down for it. She was like, I understand, girl. They energy leaks. So Sarah said she actually went with Stephanie to the post office to mail this letter. So that was the goodbye letter that Paula and Louise were talking about. Louise was like, she ends up reading it, and basically Stephanie pretty much cut ties with her family. She sends the letter to them, and then she cuts them off. Like Louise said, after we got this letter, within a few days we were blocked on everything. So they haven't seen Stephanie, and I think they said like a couple of like maybe a year or two. So this is why Paulina, and I call her Paula and Louise decided to be a part of this documentary, because I think this is their way of like reaching out to her and wanting Stephanie to come back to their family. So the next group that they focus on or the next two people we're going to focus on is Kaylee and Marlene. So like I said, the next group we're going to focus on is Kaylee, and I think her name is Marley. But I be wanting to call her Marlene, just like I want to call that lady instead of Pauline. But I think her name is Marley. So we end up meeting two sisters, Kaylee and Marley. But first up, we're introduced to Kaylee, who is the older sister. Kaylee talks to tell us about this guy named Colby. Colby and her worked at the same grocery store. He was helping her out. It was like her first time in the meat packing area, and she was just like scared and uncomfortable. But he came in and did what he was supposed to do if he was your coworker, which is help you out so you don't cause any trouble for the group or for the store. But he helps her out, and Kaylee thinks this is a sign that like this is the man she's supposed to be with. So we find out that like she's pansexual. She met Colby, the guy that helped her out. She was like, she felt like it was meant to be because he was okay with her being pansexual, and like things just seemed to flow. But then as the relationship progressed, Colby ended up breaking up with Kaylee because he was like, I don't know where I see myself with you. Like pretty much he just was unsure about their relationship, so he decided to break up with her, and I think he ended up moving back to Oregon while she stayed in Massachusetts. So she was going through a rough time with the breakup. Her friends mentioned that maybe Colby was her twin flame, and then she started to do some research, and that's how she stumbled upon Twin Flames universe. And she got really into it. She didn't have any money, but she chose to pay the $222 and be a part of the course, and she said it was really doing something for her. Jeff and Shalia convinced Kaylee that Colby is her twin flame. That Colby is the one that she's supposed to be with. That the reason she can't stop thinking about him or wanting to be with him is because he's her twin flame. So while she's in the program, she feels like she really has tapped into something that's like life-changing. So she tells her sister and gets her sister to join, who is Marley. Marley is only 18 years old when she joins the program. I don't know how old Kaylee is, but they don't look that much older than each other. So I'm thinking maybe Kaylee might be like, if she was 18, maybe Kaylee was like in her 20s, like her early 20s, like maybe no more than like 22, 23. Because she doesn't look that much older than her. But she convinced Marley to be a part of it. So Marley at first was like, I wasn't really interested in finding my twin flame or my true love. I just wanted to be a part of it because it seemed like they were helping people reach their authentic selves and their potential. And Marley's like, I wasn't even thinking about getting married till I was in my 30s. Like, I just didn't want to settle in life considering the way we grew up. So we find out that Marley and Kaylee must have had like a really tumultuous upbringing. Mind you, y'all, I'm still in part 1, so I don't know, like I'm moving on to part 2, so I don't really know what's really going on with that. But you can tell that there's something off between Kaylee and Marley, because based off of looking at them doing their interviews, Marley seems more put together than Kaylee. Kaylee is in this oversized jacket. They show an aerial shot of like where she stays. It's in an undisclosed location. It looks like a rundown trailer home. And that's no shade to nobody living in a trailer home, because I got family members and friends that live in trailer homes. So I know they can be nice, okay? I done been into some really nice ones, okay? But this looks dilapidated. As well as it looked like she didn't have no heat in there, because that jacket she had on was like a farm jacket. I forgot the brand because it looks just like that brand. It's really big. It keeps you warm while you're working out in the early morning and in the snow. And I was like, girl, I hope you got heat in there. I hope there's heat in there. But because Kaylee was a part of the Twin Flames thing. And like I said, Jeff and Shalia convinced her that Kobe was her twin flame. She starts reaching out to Kobe. She ends up getting Kobe to start looking at the twin flame videos. It starts to resonate with him. And that's what I'm saying. They had to be young. Like they had to be in like their early 20s. Like no more. I know they were not 25. But then again, it's a couple of people on this documentary that were well in their 30s and 40s being a part of this. But these two give me that they were very young. Even Stephanie gives that like she was like in her maybe mid 20s, but like these two are giving like Marley and Kaylee are giving like but like I said, Marley lets us know she was 18. Kaylee is giving like she was no more than like 23. But she gives the her login to Kobe. Kobe starts to feel like the twin flame thing is really resonating with him. And so they decide to move in together. After only talking to each other for like 2 months, they decide to move in together. Kaylee leaves Massachusetts, moves to Oregon. She didn't have nothing really when she moves. Marley was like, she was concerned, but she was like, she felt like her sister was extra happy. So she was like, she thought it was the right move for her. And then, excuse me, Jeff and Shalia started wanting them to post on their Facebook forum real heavy. They was like, you need to post on this Facebook forum, girl. Like, let the people know what the program is doing to you. Like, give us the good reviews. So they start posting on the Twin Flames, like, you on the Twin Flames Facebook, like in their community, saying how they found each other, how they're so grateful for Jeff and Shalia, for this community, for this group. And they're like so ecstatic and so happy. And then a GoFundMe was created. And I was like, why do they need a GoFundMe? But we find out that all of the funds that they got from the GoFundMe, Jeff and Shalia basically told Kobe and Keely like what they could spend that money on, down to like what kind of drapes and curtains they had to put in their house. And they did it. They did it. They did it. And basically they were so happy that they had this new poster couple, which was Kobe and Kaylee, that they started to say, see, you can achieve this harmonious union. So it starts off with them saying, we're going to help you find your twin flame. And then it goes up a notch to be like, once you find your twin flame, now you have to achieve harmonious union. And that's what Kaylee and Kobe have achieved. So then they start pushing on Kaylee and Kobe to become coaches, because they are now the shining example of what the Twin Flames universe community can do for you. So they start telling Kaylee that, like, you know, once you become a coach, you can start charging $60 per session. Like, eventually you guys are going to be able to quit your jobs, and this is going to be how y'all going to live. You know, you're going to be making 6-figure income out here with these coaches. It was giving Ponzi scheme. I said, this is giving real, what do they call it? Multi-level marketing. Like, it's giving that, sis. It's giving that. So they then start talking about the mirror exercises, where it was like this mirror exercise where you basically gaslit yourself, gaslit yourself into you are the problem, no matter what type of abuse or disrespect that you was taking from Jeff and Shalia, or from the partner that you chose to be with. I said, oh, this is getting dangerous, okay? It was getting dangerous. They then, like I said, you know, they were having the, what's it called? When they had the meet and greet. So they had the huge meet and greet, y'all. Well, again, the same meet and greet where Stephanie came to that epiphany that her real family was not her real family, that her soul family was her soul family. Jeff and Shalia wanted Kaylee, Kobe, and Marley to really be at the meet and greet. They even paid for all of their tickets. And while they're at the meet and greet, they do this like twin flame summoning kind of mess on Marley, which and I have like while I was watching this episode, I was like I had to keep remembering she's a child. She is 18 years old or 19 years old at this point when all of this is like happening to her. Like her brain is malleable, and it's like they have her sitting at this table. Everyone's doing this like twin flame kind of summoning thing, trying to summon up her twin flame. Her sister's going along with it because in her warped mind, she thinks she's helping her sister. And you can tell that the girl is like mad uncomfortable. While they're at the meet and greet, Jeff is constantly calling Marley out, talking about, did you meet somebody yet? Did you meet somebody yet? And she's scared. Like you can tell she doesn't want to say it, but she started getting random messages from some 30-year-old man because she ends up saying that the guy is 11 years older than her. When I tell y'all, I sat up in my chair and I said, 1911? Ma'am, that's a predator. If you are 30 years old dating somebody who just got out of high school, you're a creep and you need to be on somebody's watch list. So I'm like, no, they didn't push a 30-year-old man on this baby. Like, no, y'all did not do that. And so she's crying because this weirdo is the 30-year-old man named Joshua is sending her love songs. Girl, she knew in her gut that it wasn't right. Like she felt uncomfortable. She said that man creeped her out. I said you should have blocked him. But she felt compelled not to because everyone's telling her, oh no, he's your twin flame. He's your twin flame. They have her reading out the music lyrics that he's sending her. She's like crying as she's reading them. She's like, we end up finding out that the man, this 30-year-old man named Josh, is a drug addict who is like, he a drug addict. At 19 years old, there's no reason why you should be getting involved with a 30-year-old man who has a substance abuse problem. And this is how you know them people's minds is warped, because in what world would you ever think that a 19-year-old or anybody should be with another adult that's dealing with substance abuse and that is just an obstacle to your love? Because that's what they kept telling her. Like she would be in them Zoom calls. They were asking her like, have you talked to him, Kaylee? Not Kaylee, Marley. Have you spoken to him? And she's like, no, he got arrested because he got like he got caught with paraphernalia on him. And they're like, well, this is just a stumbling block or a part of your story to your love story. Girl, drugs and violence is not a part of my love story. What are you talking about? And I'm like, nobody's gonna save this child. No one's gonna save her. Okay. So eventually, Kaylee and Colby end up getting married. They end up getting married while all of this is happening. Joshua and they convince Marley to move to Utah to go be with Joshua, a 30-year-old drug addict at 19. I said, where's the parents? Where are the parents? So she moves to Utah with him. You can even see when they do the Zoom calls, when he's in the Zoom calls, she seems uncomfortable. You then got Kaylee and Colby going through it because it's a lot of marital, RAPE happening in that situation because she doesn't want to constantly be intimate with this man. But Jeff is telling all the men that like your twin flame and you are supposed to be having amazing sex and that your woman's just supposed to give it to you. And she's gaslighting herself Kaylee is gaslighting herself doing the mirror experiment, making herself feel bad because she don't want to give that man none, which she does not have to. I said, oh my God, it's too much going on. It's too much going on. And while all of this is happening, Kaylee and Marley are being pressured by Jeff and Shalia to constantly post about their harmonious union, how everything's going well, when it's like, no girl, they going through it. These women is going through it right now. And I'm like, this ain't right. This is toxic. Okay, this is dark-sided and toxic on so many levels. I said, this ain't right. So we then move on to Ellie. Next, like I said, is Ellie. We meet Ellie. We find out that I think she's like a chemist or a researcher, or she used to be. And she was trying to find like genetic markers for cancer. But we open up to her while she's like making beats on her computer. She talks about how she used to always go to like she had been an avid participants of Burning Man since 2009. Mind you, after finding out that where they do Burning Man is like in it like an ancestral place or a sacred place to the indigenous people of that part of that state, I see why I see why what happened. Like, Mother Earth is tired of us. Mother Earth is tired of us, okay? But basically, she said she met this guy in Burning Man in 2000, I guess in the mid 2000s. And they spent a lot of time together. She really thought like he was the one. But then she got into a car accident. She needed several surgeries. She had to learn, I guess, how to walk all over again. And then the guy broke up with her after that. Like so she get into an accident. She's dealing with these surgeries, and the dude is like, peace up, I'm out. Like, deuces. Like, he chucked the deuces and skedaddled on her, which is horrible. And then she turned to, the Twin Flames University, like a lot of these women have done. And so they tell her that, like the way, so Jeff and Shalia tells Ellie the same way they told Kaylee that her ex is her twin flame. Mind you, there's no way someone is my twin flame or my significant other that when I get into an accident and I get surgeries that you decide, this ain't it, and you leave me while I'm dealing with the changes of my body. Like, there was a possibility I couldn't walk again, and you just was like, yeah, this ain't what I signed up for, and you leave me. How that don't even make sense. So she tells us that, like, they told her twin flame was her ex, but Ellie was kind of questioning it because she was like, sometimes there was too many highs and lows in her relationship with her ex. She was like, sometimes they would be happy and everything would be going good, and then next thing you know, he would get emotionally distant from her and become very cold and very short with her. So she was just kind of like, I don't know if that's really my twin flame. But then she tells this story, and this is where I was like, Ellie, I don't think you telling the truth. I was like, if you gonna be honest, be all the way honest. Where she said that she moved from where she was, I guess, to like someplace in LA or wherever, to where her ex was. And she didn't have any family there or any friends, but she was still cool with the ex's roommate. And one day, the ex came home while she was sitting at the table with the roommate, and the ex got mad, called the cops, and filed a temporary restraining order against her after they got into an argument. And the way Ellie told that story, I said, sis, there's no way the courts would have granted that man a restraining order if he didn't have proof that she was doing too much off rip. If he didn't, like, the whole you were sitting down talking to the roommate, and I was like, mind you, if the roommate was a dude, men follow bros before hoes strictly. Like, it's hard for women to do chicks before dicks. So I'm just like, on some real, you probably were stalking that man because then people told you it was okay for you to do so. So she gets a restraining order from him. She ends up telling the twin flame community when they're on their like weekly Zoom call that, like, he, like, we haven't been talking. He kind of kicked me to the curb. Like, I have a restraining order against him. And they gonna tell her, you just need to discipline yourself. They end up saying that your twin flame is your twin flame. It doesn't matter if they have a restraining order against you, they're in a new relationship, if they're your ex-husband, your ex-wife, those are just obstacles. Or if they're having a baby with somebody else, they were like, those are just obstacles in front of you to get to your twin flame. I said, God, what? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. So basically, Ellie ends up telling us that the coaches that she was assigned to in the Twin Flame universe were telling her that a restraining order wasn't real. Like it was just a piece of paper, and like you still need to be communicating with him, you still need to be reaching out with him. But she she didn't know, and I don't know why she didn't think this, because her mind was gone, that the man was still, every time she texted him or called him, he was making like, I guess, a foul on her and sending it to the police, like constantly sending, like, to let them know, like, I got a restraining order against her, but she is still contacting me. Okay, get her, please. And so it's this lady's 30th birthday. Do you know I would be mortified if this happened to me on my birthday or any birthday? It don't even gotta be a 30th, a 40th, a 50th, 12, 11. I would be mortified if this happened to me. She says it's her 30th birthday. Her and her friends going out. I don't know if that lady got friends, but her and her crew go out. She ends up at the same bar as this man that she's actively stalking, because these people told her that restraining orders don't mean nothing. The man gets upset or possibly scared, calls the police. They arrest her on her birthday. On her 30th birthday, they arrest this lady on her birthday. She's sitting in a jail cell, locked up. They ain't gonna let her out because she can't call anybody to bail her out, because the only two numbers she knows is her mom's number and her ex's number. Clearly you can't call your ex, because he the one that got you locked up, and she already distanced herself from her mom because she said her mom was questioning her too much and wasn't really on board with the whole Twin Flames universe. So she's sitting in a jail cell doing that stupid mirror exercise, gaslighting herself and making herself feel like utter garbage because she done got arrested on her birthday, and now she don't know how to get herself out. While this is happening, the episode ends with her on a Zoom call with Jeff, telling Jeff that she's scared of him, and Jeff being like, why? I'm not. No, she ends up saying, like, I feel like you're hurting me. And he was like, how? I said, oh, he not playing. Like, when I tell you they was gaslighting the hell out of these people, because that's all that was in part one. We did get an investigation with Jeff and Shalia from an investigator. So before I wrap this video up, or before we end this video, there was a part where we started to get more about Jeff and Shalia. So they introduced this investigator named Sarah. Sarah lets us know that she was contacted. I don't know if she was contacted by Paulina and Louise, but she says someone's sister reached out to her to do an investigation on a high control group. So Sarah starts to give us a little bit of the rundown about Jeff and Shalia. We found out that Jeff earlier on was like, he went to business school. He's always kind of been, she says, like, it seems like he's always been obsessed with trying to like make a quick buck and become rich. She ended up saying that like when he moved to Hawaii, he changed his name to Ender Ethanos, Ayanos or something like that. And then when he got back to the States, he switched back his name, or like he went by something else. So she says, she lets us know that Shalia was the one that reached out to Jeff, and it gave desperate tease. Shalia reached out to Jeff. Jeff is feeling like he too good to be with Shalia, but then Shalia offers up sex and they down for whatever. And so Jeff is like, oh yeah, cool. And they get together. While they're there, we find out that that's not even that lady's real name. Her real name is Megan Planter, but she changed her name to Shalia after a spiritual awakening. And so you have a few of the ex-members, I guess, of the Twin Flames universe reading excerpts from Jeff and Shalia's book, where they describe what the Twin Flame universe is and how to do the mirror exercises. And as one of the members, I think her name was Veronica, is reading the book, I'm cringing. I'm uncomfortable. I said, I don't know how y'all was reading this book and the red flags weren't like, like waving in your face. Because I was like, this is cringe. And this is corny as hell. So Jeff is like she's reading the book. I'm like, this is weird. Then they end up moving to like Michigan together as a couple. They end up getting married. They start creating like these websites about spirituality and being spiritual consultants, how they were like, they can help cure cancer. I said, that's a red flag. Talk about they can help people get into alignment and cure any ailment. And then that's when they started to divulge more into what Twin Flames universe is. And the weird thing that I kept picking up is that Shalia would copy whatever Jeff was saying. Like, I know they probably purposely put that into the documentary to show, but like Jeff would say something about like, yeah, you just need to get into alignment. Shalia, yeah, it's alignment. Alignment is important. Then he would be like, no man wants that. Like, it shows that you're weak. Yeah, women find that weak. It was like she didn't have a mind of her own. Also, I don't know if it's just the shallowness in me, and it could be. It could be. I can own that. But there was nothing appealing about Jeff and Shalia that would make me be like, yeah, this is who I want to learn love from. Like, nothing about them. Like, the metamorphosis through these Zoom calls that they were showing, I was like, ain't nobody picking up on this. Like, you have too much going on. And I'm like, is nobody picking up on this? Nobody is picking up on this. And they weren't. They weren't. Like, honestly, Jeff and Shalia reminded me of them weird white kids I went to high school with. And there's nothing wrong if you are white and you come across this. Okay, I ain't got no problems with y'all. But you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. Like, I went to school in Northern Virginia, in a very like affluent part of Northern Virginia, but there was a subsection of just weird ass kids that you are just kind of like, they sniffing Sharpies and glue in the bathroom type of people. If you get my drift. And I was just like, all of these people who signed up for this like program, like, y'all thought this was like the perfection of like these two were like the union you wanted to emulate. I think that's the part that's tripping me out. I'm not saying nobody is above getting caught up in a cult, because as someone who likes to watch movies or documentaries on like, I guess like high control groups or cults, anybody could get caught up, especially if you're at a low point in your life and you're like strongly searching for something or meaning to something that where you feel like you're searching for meaning into your life, that it's just like, I can get people getting caught up. But it's just like, they were the ones that y'all really thought was like the perfect like representation of love. Like them. Because every time we saw them on them Zoom calls, it looked like, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it go. But this was part 1. I might be back for part 2 and 3. But let me know if you've seen part 1, and don't spoil part 2 and 3 for me. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in them comments below. Deuces.